Hi, I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction into how I'm using Gravity Sketch in VR for creating character models. Now, I am not a character modeler at all. This is all pretty new to me, but Gravity Sketch is really quite easy for me to just sort of rough together a character. I can bring in my reference sketch, which is back here in the background, and then using simple shapes, I can start to build it out. It also allows me to build basically two models. One is a really high resolution model, and the other is a low poly model that then I can bring into an application like SketchUp without crashing it. And what is worth mentioning with this model is, although it is together as one piece, I can also break it apart to the pieces that I used to create it. So this part of the body actually is a separate piece. But more importantly, although this has a lot of polys and has a lot of information in it, I can take this and I can turn off the subdivisions, so you can see what it looks like in its actual basic form. And then you can see that although all that detail was in there in the smoothing, it's really a very simple shape that I'm working with. And this is something my sort of architectural brain can wrap around, is I'm making a very, very simple model, but then by bringing it into subdivisions and turning that on, I end up with something that allows me to, with just a few bits of manipulation, I can create a character that has a lot more nuance, and that I can 3D print really quite easily and have some beautiful smooth shapes. This would take a lot more refinement from an actual character designer, but for me, it's more than enough to create a placeholder that then I can bring into SketchUp as a lower poly model that then by using smoothing, I can actually get something that looks very similar to my high poly model, but without it making the SketchUp model huge. So next I'll just jump into the SketchUp model so you can see how that works. Okay, this is me in SketchUp. I'm using Enscape so that I can walk around in the SketchUp model. And this is an opportunity to see not only that low poly version of the mermaid in its habitat, but also I can bring in the simple model, even with its placeholder colored texture, so I can get a real feel for what it's like to be in the room with this, even though it's still in the concept phase. The neatest part is that I can walk right up to the display and sort of look the mermaid in the face and really get a feeling for the scale relative to a person, and see how this entire thing would feel to be in the room with it, how the graphics are potentially working, and whether or not it'll fit into the space. So a combination of using Gravity Sketch as a way to create the character and then bringing it into SketchUp and Enscape is a very, very fast way for me to be able to make sure that the concept is working, and any of the scale changes that I need to make can be made here, as opposed to into having to make a physical mock-up, or worse, building it in the real world, having it done and realizing the sizes are all wrong. Another good thing too is I could bring in just about anybody into this model to look at it, and they would immediately be able to relate to it as an object in the room, as opposed to just my concept sketches or my architectural plan drawings or renders from a 2D image in SketchUp. So this is a SketchUp model.